I still remember the exact second my phone buzzed on the kitchen counter that Tuesday afternoon. The kids were at school, the house was quiet, and I was finally treating myself to a second cup of coffee after a 12-hour nursing shift. The caller ID said unknown number, Utah. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something made me swipe. Hello? A woman's voice, sharp as broken glass, sliced through the line. Is this Jessica Marie Callahan? Yes. Who is this? A laugh, low and victorious. This is Brittany. Brittany Callahan now. I'm just calling to let you know that Ryan belongs to me. Completely. We got married 3 weeks ago in Vegas, and he told me everything about how you trapped him with the kids and drained him dry. So whatever little fantasy you're still holding on to, let it go, sweetie. He's mine. I felt the coffee cup slip from my fingers and shatter on the tile. Hot liquid splashed my bare feet, but I didn't move. Excuse me? Was all I managed. You heard me, she purred. He said you were clingy, controlling, always crying about money. He's free now. He even took his ring off for good this time. Oh, and the kids? He's signing over custody to you 100%. He's done playing daddy on weekends. So yeah, thanks for keeping his name warm for me, Jessica. Bye-bye. The line went dead. I stood there in the wreckage of my coffee mug, staring at the phone like it had bitten me. Ryan and I had been separated for 14 months, not divorced. He moved to Salt Lake City for a new job, his words, and every other weekend he flew back to Denver for the boys. He still had a drawer in our bedroom. His mail still came here. He still introduced me as my wife, Jess, when he ran into people we knew. But apparently, he'd gotten drunk married in Vegas to some Instagram-perfect 26-year-old named Brittany, who was now calling to claim her property. I wish I could say I kept my dignity. I didn't. I called him 17 times, straight to voicemail. Text after text. Nothing. Radio silence. Then the credit card alert hit. $11,400 charged to our joint Amex at Tiffany & Co. in Las Vegas the day after they supposedly tied the knot. A push present, I guess. That night, I sat on the couch with a bottle of Pinot and scrolled through Brittany's public Instagram. There she was in a white latex mini dress and a veil, tongue-kissing my husband in front of the Bellagio fountains. Caption, said yes to forever with my soulmate. Hashtag Mrs. Callahan. He chose me. The comments were brutal. Half his family liking the photo. His cousin Tara even wrote, so happy he finally got away from that nightmare. I threw up in the kitchen sink. The next 3 weeks were a blur of lawyer appointments, emergency credit card cancellations, and me trying to explain to our 8-year-old why Daddy's new friend was calling herself Mommy Brittany on TikTok. Ryan finally surfaced with a single text. Can you just sign the papers, Jess? I'll still send money. I'm happy. Be happy for me. That was it. My lawyer, Carla, a woman who'd seen every flavor of midlife crisis in the Denver suburbs, told me something interesting. California is not a community property state, but marital waste is absolutely a thing. 11 grand at Tiffany while he's still legally married to you, that's coming out of his share. And if he wants to abandon his kids, fine. But we're getting child support locked before he blows his paycheck on Botox for the new wife. I nodded, numb. I just wanted it over. Then came the twist. Nobody saw coming. Our youngest son, Maverick, started having weird nosebleeds. Random, heavy, scary. Pediatrician ran blood work, more tests, a hematologist got involved. They needed parental samples for genetic markers because some of the results were unusual. Ryan flew in for the appointment, hungover and irritated, wearing a new Rolex Brittany apparently bought him. He rolled his eyes the whole time the nurse drew his blood. I hadn't seen him in person in 4 months. He looked tanned, thinner, happier. It hurt more than I expected. 2 weeks later, the genetic counselor called me personally. Mrs. Callahan, we need you and your husband to come in together. It's important. Ryan showed up in a Tesla I'd never seen before, Brittany waiting in the passenger seat, filming him on her phone like he was some influencer. He told her to stay in the car. She pouted, but obeyed. We sat in the tiny beige office while Dr. Patel slipped the report across the table. She didn't waste time. Ryan, the boys are not your biological children. The air left the room. I stared at the paper, then at Ryan, then back at the paper. Probability of paternity, 0%. Both boys. Dr. Patel kept talking, something about a rare genetic mutation Maverick has that could only be passed recessively, something about my ex-fiancé from 11 years ago who apparently left more than just emotional scars, but I couldn't hear her anymore. Ryan's face cycled through every color in the spectrum: shock, confusion, rage. He grabbed the report, read it twice, then looked at me like I was a stranger. You cheated on me? Both times? I laughed. I couldn't help it. A loud, ugly, hysterical laugh. Ryan, we weren't even together when I got pregnant with Hudson. You proposed 6 months after he was born because you said he felt like yours. And Maverick, you begged me for a second baby. You were there at the conception party in Breckenridge, remember? You tracked my cycle on an app. He stood up so fast, the chair fell over. Dr. Patel tried to calm things down, but Ryan was already storming out. I heard Brittany's fake sweet voice in the hallway. Baby, what's wrong? I heard him scream, the kids aren't mine, Brittany. Then her voice ice cold. Wait, so you have no money either? Because you told me your ex was gonna get wrecked in the divorce and we'd be set. I walked out just in time to watch Brittany slap him across the face in the parking lot, climb into the Tesla, and peel out, leaving him standing there in Gucci slides and confusion. He looked at me, tears in his eyes for the first time in years. Jess, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I just thought. I didn't let him finish. Ryan, you abandoned children you raised for 8 and 5 years because some bottle blonde told you to. You let her call me and threaten me? You spent $11,000 on a stranger while telling me you couldn't afford braces for Hudson? You don't get to be sorry now. I turned to leave. He grabbed my arm. What am I supposed to do? I looked him dead in the eye. You're supposed to go home, Ryan. Except you don't have one anymore. Brittany's probably changing the locks on that condo you put in her name as we speak. And me? I've been raising our boys alone for a year now. We're good. We were always good. You just couldn't see it. I got in my paid-off Subaru and drove away while he stood in the middle of the parking lot, crying. 3 months later, the divorce was final. He got 0 custody, 0 visitation, his request, in writing, once the DNA news went public on Brittany's TikTok meltdown, had to reimburse me every dime he spent during separation, including the Tiffany charge. The judge was not amused. Brittany dumped him the same week live on Instagram, reading the DNA results to her 400K followers. Last I heard, he was living in his cousin Tara's basement, driving Uber Black to pay spousal support to a woman whose kids aren't even his. And me? Hudson asked if he could keep calling himself Callahan at school because it feels like our name. Maverick just wanted to know if Daddy was ever coming back. I told him the truth. Families come in all shapes and sizes, and ours is staying exactly the way it is. 3 of us, stronger than ever. Sometimes I still get random numbers calling. I don't answer unknowns anymore. But every now and then, I play that voicemail Brittany left me just to hear her say, he belongs to me now, one more time. Then I look at my boys, healthy and happy and mine, and I press delete. Because the DNA report said something entirely different. And girl, let me tell you, karma doesn't need a push present. She shows up in a white coat with a lab report and a smile.